Hey guys, Mark Kwok here. Today I want to talk about feeling stuck and wanting to do something about that. A lot of you guys may be just doing work, brushing your teeth, going to sleep, taking a shit. That's your life, right? And at some point you want to kind of get out of that routine, do something new, have some adventure, so on. And a lot of you have this pent-up dream or passion that you wanna, work on. And unfortunately, you haven't started. So I wanna talk a little bit about that because I'm a guy who is a big proponent for starting something new or getting your feet wet in something that you aren't super comfortable in. If you know anything about me, you know that I am a little bit nuts on this. I love projects. I love starting something new, learning something. So let's talk about it. Number one, in trying to achieve something new, identify what it is that you want to do. The truth is, sometimes you feel stuck, you don't know what to do, so you want to do a ton of different things. You want to learn golf so you can play golf with your buddies, or you want to take up a new hobby, regardless of the hobby. And I think that sort of mentality is fine because it shows that you're restless. You want something new, but the reality is that you can't become good at everything and try everything all at once. That's just not, you gotta put time into something, so it needs to be something specific. Identifying exactly what you want to work on, that is a large part of the battle, right? You are a human being with a lot of talents and a lot of things you want to work on, but try to figure out what it is the one thing, that one thing that has been in the back of your mind. Many of you may already have that thing already there, you just haven't really taken the action yet. So yes, the world is your oyster, but once you figure out that one thing, that thing that you want to work on, commit to that thing. Number two, this is by and far the most important step of this all. Take the first step. Most people end at the ideation phase. They know they want to do something. They have an idea. They create a plan. They even, get to a huge schedule on how to do it, but they don't take that first step. I get it. We want things to be perfect. We want to be good before we put out work, or we want to make sure our decision is right before committing to something and actually starting. My very first YouTube video that I created here was probably pretty garbage, to be honest. And, it's arguable whether I've even gotten better at it. But the truth is, I needed to get something out there because the moment I started, there's this thing called momentum. You keep going. And not only that, it just makes it less daunting. Step 0 to 1 is an infinitely huge thing compared from 1 to 2, right? Like, just do the first thing. Take an action. Get your ass off of the chair. Stop just thinking about it or even just writing stuff down. Actually go and do that thing. Number 3. Now, just because you did that one thing does not make a passion or does not make a project, right? Like, one thing is just the start. But make sure that you have some consistency for some time. You can create boundaries for yourself. You can make sure that, hey, I'm gonna give this a 2-month shot, or I'm gonna give this a 3-month shot or a year shot. Like, commit to some sort of timeline. And no matter what, even if your work is shoddy or whatever, you gotta create that momentum. You gotta create that routine and get it part of your life. So if it's about getting better at golf, you gotta just schedule a driving range or course time. You just gotta do it. You may suck and it'd be frustrating in the beginning, but just each time, make sure you go. You'd be entirely surprised to find that after number 6 or 7, you're like starting to get in the groove. And lastly, number 4, I would say give yourself some grace. At the end of the day, there are a lot of projects I have done, and honestly, I feel like all of those projects, or many of them, have failed. And it's easy to be down on myself and say, hey, look, you failed, you didn't do a good job, maybe you're not meant for this, all this sort of stuff. And the reality is, when I kind of take a step back and zoom out, I gotta give myself some grace, because at the end of the day, I became better at that thing, regardless of whether or not the entire world embraced that thing or not. I can tell you confidently, I am better at making videos, or I'm better at making a podcast or writing or whatever it is. And it wouldn't have happened unless I put the time, taken that first step, and actually repeated those steps for a period of time. For some, they may see that as maybe a waste of time. I see it as a growing thing. Like, I grew and became better at those things. Yeah, the project itself may have failed, but me as Mark Kwok today is better because of the fact that I had all those experiences. So yes, you practice basketball, but you don't make it into the NBA. Guess what? You're better at basketball. You're probably better in terms of cardiovascular. You maybe even have a community of people that you can hang out with separately outside of basketball. Those are all positive things that happen because you took that first step and you repeated the process. Like, that That's what it's all about. So all in all, I encourage you, if you're feeling stuck, if you want to try something new, just first take that step. Do something, be consistent about it for a period of time, and then of course give yourself some grace if you, didn't do it perfectly. All right, that's my little PSA out there for you guys in case you needed a bit of inspiration. But thank you so much for watching. My name is Mark Kwok. I'll see you guys on the next one.